Alright, what is going on YouTube? And today we got a horrendous camera setup. I wish you guys could see how janky this one is. I need to either get a tripod or like a camera person to help me record all this or something like that. But as you can see, we are going through a lifting split tier list today. And I'm going to be ranking most of the common ones, like to my best knowledge, and judging them on the scale of niche to supreme level split. And I'm going to be judging based on practicality for pretty much any reason you would want to lift. Whether it is aesthetics, strength, functional fitness, explosiveness, and just how this can work with the average person's amount of time in their day. I'll factor in recovery. All these things have been taken into consideration for this tier list. And we are going to have a late workout today, and we're going to be doing one of these split. Most of you already know which split I'm going to be doing, but I need to get all my recording out of the way for the rest of the week, so we're going to be working out a little later today. So our force output is probably going to be a little lower today, but we're going to put that energy towards making this video. So starting off, I wish you could, here, let me just show you like what this setup is. My camera is resting on an Amazon box on top of a freaking TV dinner tray, and then my whiteboard is on top of a jump box for plyometrics that's being held together by a VR headset box and a 35-pound weight. So that is what we're working with here at Temple Forming Studios. They haven't increased our budget yet, so this is what we're working with. Alright, so we're going to start with, I hope you guys can see this, but Niche. That is our first tier for the splits. And in this category is going to go any split that pertains to too hyper-specific of a lifting goal. So, for instance, powerlifting splits that go like squat Monday, bench Tuesday, squat and deadlift. This is one I did, by the way. Squat and deadlift on Wednesday, then bench again on Thursday, rest Friday, and then all three on Saturday. And that is like a sheer, like hitting the weights hard to build some strength and neural drive for powerlifting. But it's definitely not that, it's not very good for recovery, aesthetics, and it definitely takes a toll. It doesn't leave any energy for cardio, I can tell you that. It was brutal, I was always tired, and I did that split while training for a triathlon and a powerlifting meet at the same time. So that is a bit of an extreme, but the bottom line is that's just kind of niche, because it only helps you that much if you're a powerlifter, basically. Because you're missing out on all of the lat stuff. You're missing out on like the pulling motions, like rows or pull-ups or freaking lat pull-downs or something like that. You're missing out on that. So we're going to put in the niche category, hold on, let me draw this. We're going to put the number one power lifting splits. And when I say powerlifting splits, these are only ones that pertain to powerlifters. Like, so you'll see other ones on this tier list that you can powerlift on, but since this is so niche and only applies to powerlifters, and it doesn't leave much energy for cardio, and it takes a lot of time, so you're gonna add even more time on top of that if you care about your body with stretching. So our number one ranked niche freaking split is going to be any powerlifting based split, and then after that we're going to do, I really hope you guys can see this clearly, because I remember when I did the football, how to make the ultimate football program, you could barely even see the words. So I'm hoping this is a little better now. But and this is kind of going backwards, so even though niche is our lowest tier, I'm kind of going backwards in how I'm ranking these, because the powerlifting splits would be number one amongst the niche. Then we have Smolov and Smolov Jr., because Smolov, if you don't know, is a squat-only program that has you squatting like, I think 3 or 4 times a week, maybe even 5 times a week sometimes. It's like a 13-week program. But Smolov is only for squats, and Smolov Junior is a 3-week program based comprising of 4 benching workouts a week, only for bench. So Smolov and Smolov Junior, and a lot of people run these in tandem, but they only do squat and bench. So not only is it only powerlifting basically, but it's only 2 out of the 3 lifts. So you are really hyper focusing with Smolov. It is so niche, and it's exhaustive for your body, and it leaves pretty much no room for any hypertrophy work in your back or arms, or you're getting plenty of hypertrophy with your legs and glutes with the Smolov one, and quite a bit for your chest if you're doing Smolov Junior, but you're kind of neglecting the other parts of the delt and your back and abs, I guess. It's just brutal, and it's really hard to recover from. So this is super niche. And so Smolov and Smolov Junior take second to last on our overall tier list. And by the way, I don't want to come off as I'm hating on any split. I should have said this at the beginning of the video, but any supreme tier split is going to be a split you enjoy, stick with, and it works your schedule, and you can recover from. Whatever is the most practical for you is going to be your supreme tier exercise split. But I am just going over this from my experience and my point of view, and providing evidence and reasons for why or why not I think these are ranked where they are. So keep that in mind. Then number 3, we're going to go left and right day. Left and right split. And this is basically a meme split, but you could think about it being niche and practical for people that are going through big imbalances or injuries. What I imagine this looks like is full body, but you just split it into left and right focus days. And, you know, if you have a traumatic car accident, you might be breaking up your exercise routine into basically like different physical therapy workout sessions. And that's pretty much the only time I can see left and right splits coming into play. It's pretty much a meme, but I can see it being practical if you have like a brutal muscle imbalance or something like that. And even at that, I would imagine you'd go full body and then left or right day after that, like the next day, just based on whichever side you have the big imbalance on. I really would doubt anybody would split it into left and right practically. So that's why this is absolute hard last on the tier list. But even then, I do think you can get some use out of it, but I just probably wouldn't recommend it to anybody that didn't have like a medical recommendation to be doing left and right. I think you could get more bang for your buck out of pretty much anything. All right, next we're going to jump all the way to A tier. I'm going to draw these tiers up right now. Okay. And why do I only go to A? Because I don't think there is any B, C, D, E, or F tier exercise splits. I just think there's exercising and then really optimizing your workout routines. That's my mentality. I don't think there's any like awful one. We just get down to the niche at some point. Like at some point, these are a little too niche, and that's why they're ranked so low. So coming in at last for the S tier, we are going to do the contraction extension split. Okay, so how contraction extension works, it basically works 2 different ways. There's a contraction day, extension day, and a leg day, or just a contraction and extension. And basically what this looks like is on contraction day, you go chest, biceps, abs, and then if you're doing contraction with your legs, you would do hamstrings on this day as well. And then on extension day, you would do things that are extending your body basically. So rear delts, tricep extensions, like lat pull downs and quad extensions, or you break those up into the full body contraction and extension. So basically it kind of looks like chest and biceps, back and triceps, and then lower body. I've seen people do it that way too. I know technically all of your muscles are contracting when you're exercising for the most part, but you know what I mean, like it's the actual bones that are contracting or extending in a lot of these movements. And even at that, this usually comes down to like front and back. You can also call this front and back because you're doing your front with your chest and your front with your biceps and your front with your abs. And you're doing triceps, which is the back of your arms, and your whole back, which is the back of your back, or the back of your torso technically. And I see a lot of people doing this because a lot of people really love hitting chest and biceps and really hate hitting back and triceps. So they have a day they love and a day they hate. And a lot of people's back and triceps grow more than their chest and biceps. So they can have like a lower intensity, lower care day when they do back and triceps, and they can just go in and have a bunch of fun when they do chest and biceps, maybe even hit chest and biceps 3 times a week. And so that is also kind of niche. Frick, I put this in the wrong, I meant to put this in A tier. Here, let me fix that real quick. All right, there we go, I fixed it. Contraction / extension, or chest and bis and back and tris. And I'm about to drop an extremely niche fitness tidbit reference. I also call this the final split because this is usually every person who gets into lifting through the bodybuilding training, like the high reps, basically like push-pull legs, high reps, like sets of 10, kind of like 3 or 4 sets of 10 training, like to failure, just getting that pump. This is kind of the last split a lot of those guys who get in through wanting to look like a bodybuilder, training for aesthetics. This is one of the last splits you typically see somebody like that going into before they switch to like powerlifting or full body or something like that. And the reason for this is because traditional bodybuilding training gets so repetitive doing push-pull legs after a while that they hear about this exercise split right here. I saw somebody doing this on Instagram, and they switched to this for a little while. This is their awkward transition period into their next step of fitness. Maybe they go powerlifting, maybe they go CrossFit, maybe they take up like running or something. But the bottom line is they can't take any more of traditional bodybuilding, so they do things that are contradictory movements, like chest and biceps at the same time, or back and triceps at the same time. This is the last bastion of spicing up bodybuilding style training for a lot of the lifting populace after a certain amount of years, especially once your like rookie gains are all depleted and all of a sudden you're just going through the same 1.5 to 2 hour bodybuilding style workouts 5 to 6 days a week, and you just can't take it anymore. So they go with this split for a little bit, and things are going to change for them from there. I've seen it time and time again. Moving on though, in second place on our A tier list here, let me make that 2 more visible, we got push-pull legs, which is one I just referenced when I was talking about this section. My personal least favorite split ever. But that's because I was doing a very mundane take on the push-pull legs. And I want to walk you through that. Basically, I went in, did bench press, then did chest press, then did chest flies, then did like lateral raises, machine shoulder press, and then tricep extensions 2 different ways for 3 sets of 10, because that's how I saw like some bodybuilder's YouTube video doing push-pull legs on YouTube back, and insert any basic push-pull legs. Pull, that's the back one. You're basically doing like rows, lat pull downs, lat pull overs, machine cable rows, and you're just, the problem with push-pull legs that I'm trying to get to, and that I'm beating around the bush too much, is that a lot of push-pull legs equals too much volume. Because that's just the popularized take on push-pull legs. Any of these routines can be executed flawlessly, but you just see a lot of monotonous volume and junk volume in the push-pull leg split. Practically, push-pull legs works great, I think, especially if you're going push-pull legs rest. I think that works pretty perfectly, and you're just kind of, rotating things. And by the way, I've tried all of these splits except left, right. I just want to say that right now. So I'm going based on my own experience. I want to make it abundantly clear that I've tried all of these for a long time each, like at least a 9-month session of each of these splits, at least once in my life. But push-pull legs was the one I made the least gains, hated lifting the most, burnt myself out, was the closest to hopping on gear because I was so stagnant from overtraining. I could not possibly progress. My pumps looked sick every time, but I wasn't going up in weight. I wasn't putting on that much size, and it was because my body was exhausted. These sessions are like 2 hours each, 6 times a week, and I was getting sick all the time because that's detrimental for your immune system. And by the way, on the leg day, you're basically just, the standard protocol is like starting with a squat or split squat, going into leg press, then quad extensions and hamstring curls, then the leg spread, leg close, or calf raises. That's basically what legs look like on this split. But push-pull legs can be executed flawlessly. For instance, you could go in on Monday, do heavy flat or incline bench press, then lateral raise, then dumbbell tricep extension or like skull crushers. And that's push day one. Pull day one could be you go in, you do some heavy rows, and then you do some pullovers or something. And then I would say abs, because that's the most practical day to include abs. And then a set of biceps. Or a session of biceps. And then legs, you do like some heavy squats or something. Then on your second push day, go in and lead with shoulder presses and then do chest flies, and then maybe close grip bench, maybe just more skull crushers, I don't know. Maybe nothing for triceps that day. Then your second pull day, you could go in and do some pull-ups and then rear delt flies and then biceps again. And then on leg day, the second time, go in, do like RDLs, so you're hitting the back of your legs, and then maybe some hip thrusts or something like that, or kettlebell swings. So that is the perfect way to do push-pull legs right there. But I never see people, and you're going heavy on those, by the way. You are training intensely for those 2 to 4 exercises per session versus like your 6 to 8 different exercises in the voluminous bodybuilder style push-pull legs. You're training intensely, but you're getting in and you're getting out. And that heavy lifting is way more fulfilling. Just throwing around heavy weight, that's way more fulfilling than spamming a bunch of volume for hours on end and then being like, holy crap, my day's gone, I just need to take a nap and like freaking eat right now, and I'm sore the next day and I'm getting more and more tired and I'm starting to really not want to do this next workout by the 6th day of the week. Whereas if you train it just a couple exercises intensely for push-pull legs, I think you can make it work tremendously great. Push-pull legs is ranked so lowly because of my experience with it, how little gains I made while I trained push-pull legs, and how commonly push-pull legs just load up with junk volume. That's why it's right here. And it's probably the most common split too. I've talked enough about freaking push-pull legs. Moving on, we are going to go a split that we've talked about already on this channel. Probably my biggest video on this channel, and that's strong lifts. There's a T in there. I'll just, there we go. Strong lifts 5x5. I take back what I said earlier. Strong lifts 5x5 is the second split I haven't done on this tier list. I haven't done that or left and right. For those of you who don't know, strong lifts is a routine that is split up into 2 days, an A and B workout. A, you're doing squats, then bench, then rows for 5x5 each. So it is 5x5, so 15 total sets. In each set you're doing 5 reps. And then workout B is squat, shoulder press, and deadlift. And you're doing 5x5 for the squatting and shoulder press. And you're only doing 1 set for the deadlift. And you just alternate back and forth on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So the first week, or the basically the odd number weeks you're going to go A, B, A, and then on the even number weeks you're going to go B, A, B, and it's just going to constantly rotate. And the reason why Strong Lifts 5x5 is so good is it's minimalist, and you don't have to focus on much, and you're getting muscle through building strength in the most basic lifts you can pretty much imagine. The reason why I don't like Strong Lifts, the reason why it's only A tier, is because it's too much squatting, it's too much taxation on the central nervous system because of that from squatting 5x5 3 times a week. You are going to progress in strength on squat probably a lot quicker than on bench and shoulder press. So your legs are going to probably be getting bigger and stronger while your upper body is pretty exhausted and can't quite progressively overload. There'll be an imbalance, and the Strong Lifts 5x5 is designed for you to keep adding weight every single week to your 5x5 lifts, and that's just not realistic whatsoever for those given lifts. And it also neglects things like your side delts and your deep lats from doing like pull-ups. It neglects abs, and it definitely neglects biceps a little bit. So from a bodybuilding standpoint, Strong Lifts 5x5 is not super practical. For an average Joe wanting to get like in pretty good muscular shape, just look better, have overall more muscle and practical muscle at that, a Strong Lifts 5x5 routine would be a good way to cover all of your bases while thinking as little as possible about what you're going to do that day. Because that's the nice thing, it's simplicity. Everything's already covered for you in Strong Lifts 5x5. And if you want my full breakdown, I'll post a link to that video in the description below. But yeah, Strong Lifts comes in first for the A tier list. It's got a lot going for it and a lot taking away from it, basically. And I think that's what makes it such a magnificent split is, it's a big talking point. It's very simple, and I like the strength component of it. I just think it's too much squatting, and I think it's unrealistic that you keep progressively overloading all the time on it, like keep adding weight. I don't think that's possible. Hold on a second. I'm gonna call an audible right here, and we're gonna go number 4. We're gonna go backwards, add a number 4th one, and I'm gonna put the Mike Mentzer split right here. I almost forgot about this one. And I know that Mike Mentzer did a lot of different personal splits, and he coached people with different splits, but the one I'm talking about is the really popular, like one with millions of views on YouTube, where he's talking about how for exercise 1, you're gonna want to do the close grip bench press and then go over and do a set of flies. And you're going to want to train to absolute failure, and then you're going to want to rest for 8 days. And on the 8th day, you're going to want to do a reverse grip lat pull down and then go over to the deadlift or something like that. Then you're going to want to rest another 8 days. That's the one I'm talking about. The one where you have like an obscene amount of rest time and like a ridiculously low amount of time in the gym, and you just train really intensely. Guys, I think one of the least practical ways to train is to just burn out your central nervous system, run it into the ground, and then just be inactive for like a week. I think that is probably the reason why it's not below niche is because you can get a lot of results muscularly from training that way, but you're not getting the mitochondrial health benefit of conditioning your body. A lot of people like to work out, so like taking just days and days and days off of the gym, that's not going to help out a whole lot either. And the heart health component of exercising at all is completely taken away from that, because unless you're running in your free time, which you could, but again, if you were going to run in the supplemental days where you're not doing the Mike Mentzer lifts, you are going to be taking away from that muscular gain, because then that's too much cardio and not enough muscle stimulus. So really, the Mike Mentzer thing just basically only works if the only part of lifting you care about is just putting on muscle, and you hate exercise, don't care about other dimensions of your health too much. And this is no disrespect to Mike Mentzer, because the heavy duty training method has its place for sure, and there's a lot of golden tidbits that came out of that. But I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of components of athleticism that gets neglected with that training method, and there's just way better ways to go about it. That's all I'm saying. So that comes in number 4 for A tier. Moving on to the S tier. Coming in last place, we got the OG Sam Sulek split, which I don't know if that's even a common term, but this is basically it's basically chest, back, or chest, legs, but chest, back, legs, and then like arms plus shoulders. I don't know how that looks on camera. It kind of looks a little squiggly to me. But this is something around the Sam Sulek split he blew up off of doing. He would go like chest where he did heavy pressing, then like some contraction based movement, and that was his workout. And then for back he'd do like some really heavy lat pull downs or something like that, and then like rear delt flies, and then go into then his leg workout would be like heavy squatting or heavy quad extensions, something like that. And then arms and shoulders in the same. I can't remember if he gave shoulders their own day and arms their own day, but just biceps and triceps and shoulder, like a nice little like arm sleeve pump day, and then rest after that. And so it was constantly rotating. You'd go through all of your days and then rest. So your chest day, if it was on a Monday the first week, it would be on a completely different day the next week. And I saw a lot of hypertrophic gains. I saw a lot of mass gains doing this. It was pretty fun as well. And the only reason I stopped doing the Sam Sulek split was because I was running at the time and I was training for a marathon. And this really got to the point where when I upped the miles, I couldn't keep gaining in these. So I had to do like a hybrid split. I switched to like a hybrid athlete workout split. But I did see a lot of muscular gains. I saw a lot of size, a lot of mass when I was basically just copying exactly what Sam Sulek was doing at the time. Sam Sulek, whatever. But it's nice because you get everything you need and then you rest. And some weeks you have more rest days. Some days you have 2 chest days or 2 back days in 1 week. But it's like a rotating split. And I liked that at the time. It kept me on my toes. And I think it was the best for recovery. I do, because I was always getting a rest day after I completed all my tasks, and I liked that. I liked how all I had to do was hammer out the muscle groups I had prioritized, and then I could rest right away and get right back to it again. So, because if you have a push-pull leg day, something can start to lag behind after doing push-pull legs, rest, push-pull legs, rest. You can build up some exhaustion from doing it like that, from repeating and having every day set in stone. Whereas this day, it's different every time, so nothing is set in stone. You get rest more so when you need it. That's the thing I like so much about the Sam Sulek split. Moving on to number 2, we got the Arnold split. And this is one of the splits that I saw the most gains on. That's basically chest and back on the first day, legs on the second day, and then shoulders, biceps, and triceps on the last day. So a little like arm sleeve pump day is basically what that third day is. And the reason why I love this so much is because on chest and back, you basically work your contracting muscle groups. And that's huge. Whatever is pushed needs to be pulled in your body. So that you don't, on push-pull legs, whichever day you start with or whichever one you go harder at or whichever one you have a genetic advantage on, you might work and develop more than the second day or the one you have a genetic disadvantage on or the one you just train less hard because you don't like it. But on the Arnold split, you can lead with whichever one is lagging behind, so that one gets more attention, and then the one that you enjoy or that you're more genetically predispositioned towards growth on, you can do second, because you can just be fired up. So if my back's lagging behind, I can start with back, use my best energy on it, and then switch to chest. And then I love doing chest, so I just hoist some weight on chest anyway because I love it, and that gives me energy throughout the whole workout. Then on the second day, you can just channel all your energy towards having a really heavy leg day. And then on the arm, shoulder, bicep, and tricep day, you can just try to focus getting that pump, feeling the burn in your arms and in your shoulders. And that last day was always the one I hated the most because I don't really like doing arms that much, and I really hate lateral raises as well. So it's like you're getting all of the sucky, non-fun stuff out of the way all in one day on the Arnold split. So I really like the Arnold split. I saw the best gains on that for sure. I put on the most mass in my back, and I also hit 315 for the first time on bench by doing the Arnold split basically. And I would come in and I would get a nice pump in my back would be nice and stable, and then I'd press really heavy weight for my second exercise, which on the bench basically. And then on the leg day, I would just like either squat or deadlift and then do quad extensions and hamstring curls. It's a pretty bodybuilder based one, but it's probably my favorite bodybuilder only split for the most part. But anyway, number one is going to go to upper lower. Upper lower is the first place one in the S tier category. All right, this video is running super long, and you guys are like getting my like side profile from the early cut. Anyway, so we got upper lower, which is basically upper body and lower body back and forth. And I've seen this go a couple different ways. I've seen people go upper body and then lower body Monday and Tuesday, rest Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday do upper lower again, rest the whole weekend. I've seen people go upper lower, upper lower, upper lower, rest on Sunday. And what I did upper lower, upper lower. I just did it twice a week and rested on Wednesday. And I did I kind of changed this into my own hybrid one. When I was in my marathon training, basically, I would go upper lower and then basically like push and pull kind of. I did like upper lower and then rested Wednesday, and then did upper basically just with chest and shoulders, and then did biceps and triceps, and then on the lower day I deadlifted and then did hamstrings and back. So that's a pretty weird adaptation of it, I know. But the reason why I did that is because I made that adaptation for a very specific reason. It was because when you're doing upper lower, there's always going to be kind of a disparagement. There's going to be a difference between how much focus your upper body and lower body is getting, because if you do upper body, you kind of got to do front and back. You got to do a push and a pull. And that's just even if you don't want to focus on getting that bicep pump, like doing your curls, doing your tricep extensions, your lateral raises. Typically in your abs, typically with upper body, a lot of people have a lot more they want to do. But with lower body, at the most you're doing one heavy compound movement and then some quad extensions and hamstring curls or something like that. That's if you go like the typical like paper copy bodybuilder type of hitting legs, but you can do glute bridges and calf raises too. You can do hip thrusts and you can do all that. But basically what I'm trying to say is a lot of people have a lot less they practically need to do with lower body and a lot more they have to do for upper body. So there's a little bit of like an energy difference and a time difference between these two. And that's why it's not supreme tier, because I think there's a better way to do upper lower, or there's just a better split to combine the kind of simplicity components of doing upper lower. Because if you're following the mindset of you have to stimulate the muscle twice a week, upper lower is a super easy way to do that, because then at the bare minimum you only have to work out 4 days a week if you're doing that. Whereas push pull legs in the Arnold split, you're typically doing it like 5 to 6 times a week. With the Sam Sulek split, you're usually doing like at most 5 a week, at least 4 lifts a week. Again, obviously we're not going to talk about the Mike Mentzer one, but yeah, basically upper lower is a pretty simplistic minimalist one for a lot of people, but I think it's hard for a lot of people to kind of manage their time with that upper one. It was hard for me too, and that's why I had to make a hybrid split, especially when I was running, especially when I had other things to do, because that first day would take me like 2 hours, and that second day, the lower, would take me freaking just 1 hour. And at that point, I might as well have just done push-pull legs, because I was basically doing push and pull on one day. And I think that was exhausting me. That was dipping into the tank a little bit more. So that is our S tier branch. Now we're going to go into supreme tier. And I'm just going to drop at number 3 the hybrid one right away, because if you make a hybrid split, a hybrid split can be number 1 out of all of these. Just picking a split that fills your needs the most. But for me, that was taking the upper lower and kind of making it my own so I could get cardio in. And if that's what it takes to get your cardio in, is making your own split, then hybrid is number 1. Hybrid's king. Just take the principles from any of these, take the schedule from any of these, and just put it into what works best for you. Hybrid works pretty well. Then number 2 and number 1 I'm going to drop at the same time, and then I'm going to give you my method. So number 2, bro split. Number 1, full body. Full body is king. Now why is full body king? Well, because you are hitting every muscle group per workout. And maybe you only do one set of every muscle group. And you can get, if you're doing one exercise, you can get this done in like 30 to 40 minutes, a full body workout. Just one intense thing, and then you can do it again the next day. But you can basically determine the intensity of what one full body workout is going to be for you, and then rest as many days until you can do that again. Full body is so flexible with your routine, because if you have a really busy day, you can just rest from the gym. If you have a free day, you can hit full body. If you work like 5 days a week, 9 to 5, and actually, I'm gonna take this a step further. If you work 12-hour shifts, you're not really gonna have time to work out. The average person isn't going to have time to work out after a 12-hour shift. So you don't even need to work out that day. But then a day you have off of work, you can do a 1 hour, an hour and a half full body workout. Or maybe you just do like a 2.5 hour full body workout one time a week, which isn't ideal, but it's better than nothing. So if you are doing full body workouts, it's pretty much perfect for you. And you can choose to prioritize the muscles that need the most focus. So let's say your glutes have been doing really well lately. You can just do one set of glutes, maintenance. Just do a glute bridge or some hip thrusts or some freaking kettlebell swings. And if your chest is lagging behind, maybe do 3 sets of bench or 3 sets of incline press the first day. And then you can do that again the next day. But basically, as long as you're just getting every piece of the pie checked, you can prioritize, you can give more sets to muscles you need focus on, and things that are imbalanced on full body, and things that you're really excelling in, you can take your foot off the gas a little more. In full body, you can also make work with powerlifting, with running, but you want to maintain a little bit of muscle, weekend warrior, bodybuilding, powerlifting, I can't remember which one I already said, CrossFit, whatever you want, you can make full body work for you. It's so versatile, it's literally the best split. But there is the bro split. And I'm going to get into the weeds of why the bro split is number 2, and depending on the time of the year, sometimes number 1 for me. So, bro split is magnificent. Bro split is my favorite split of all time, probably. And it is the complete opposite of the full body split. It's taking only one body part and focusing on it for an entire day. And I know that you can already see the appeal in that. And all the, professional bodybuilders are probably going to be in the comments or something. They're going to hate on this and pick this apart. But you can also make the bro split work for pretty much any routine. So watch this. So let's say I work every single day of the week. Like I work 5 days a week basically. And Saturday is my social day to myself. And Sunday is the Sabbath to the Lord. Sunday's the day I rest. I'm not working out at all. With the bro split, I can take that full body routine, and by the way, you can do 3 full body workouts a week is probably my preferred method of like 1 hour, 2 hours tops. I wouldn't go 2 hours. I try to bias closer to 1 hour, 3 1-hour full body workouts a week. But you can do a bro split, guys, and you can make bro split a half an hour a day. You can take something from 5x5. You can do like incline bench for 5x5 on day 1 because you're just focusing chest. That's only 30 minutes, guys. And maybe your second day is hamstrings. Just do some RDLs. Just do RDLs, and that'll only take you like 30 minutes. And then the next day, and by the way, after you do that compound movement, if you work out at a gym, maybe you do like a burnout set of an isolation thing. So you go from RDLs into like hamstring curls, you go from some bench press into chest flies. It's completely customizable because you're just focusing, all you have to worry about is one muscle group a day. And you can make that workout an hour tops if it's a muscle group you really want to build. So if you are good on everything except back, you can make all of your back work, all of your other workouts like half an hour, just less than an hour. But your back one, you can really stack up things. Like you can do pull-ups, rows, flies, pullovers, just everything to just stack your back if you're lagging behind on your back. But then, yeah, the bro split, since you're focusing on everything individually, you can give it your complete focus. Every muscle group, you can focus, you can put all of your energy into that one muscle group, and because of that, you can also do it in a lot less time. Because if it's something you don't need to focus as much, you can just do the basics, 5 sets minimum, and make it 5x5, relatively intense. Because full body, that can be pretty hard on your central nervous system. So what I do is I just rotate back and forth between bro split and full body. When my central nervous system, when I get so strong that 3 full body workouts a week is too much for me, I break it down and just focus everything individually with the bro split. And then when I get super strong on the bro split, to the point where working out every single day of the week is becoming really tiring for me, I bring it back to full body and just focus on what my goals are in full body, and then let everything go back to a maintenance level as I hit every muscle group per exercise on the full body workout, 1 hour, 3 times a week. The longest I really go for full body nowadays is just 1 hour and 15, and it's still less than if I did 6 days a week, 1 hour sessions of the bro split, because that would just add up to 3 hours and 45 minutes versus 6 total hours of working out a week. But you can make a bro split like only 3 hours a week if you're doing half-hour sessions. And because of that versatility, just going back and forth between bro split and full body is literally the ultimate split. It's like the final one for me. If I'm training for a triathlon, I can just go 1 to 2 full body workouts a week, whatever I can recover from. If I got nothing to do, I can do cardio a little bit every single day and then a half-hour session, and that's covering all of my bases using the bro split. So literally these two are all you need to go back and forth between. You can give so much presence and focus to a muscle group on the bro split, and you can hit everything and build a strong, resilient body by doing the full body however many times a week. In the full body, you can just do however many full body workouts a week as you can recover from. Some weeks maybe you can hit 4 if you're getting 9 hours of sleep at night and you're getting plenty to eat and have plenty of time on your hands. So other times maybe it's just 1 or 2. It's completely flexible. It's at your own schedule. So these two, I'm sorry, but they're always going to be on top for me. And in the bodybuilding hypertrophy community, I think they get hated on a decent amount. A lot of people are waking up and kind of coming to the light, but yeah, they've gotten a lot of slack for a long time. But you can make both functional, you can make both bodybuilding, powerlifting, or you can make them hybrid with whatever other fitness goals you're trying to accomplish. But yeah, it's the ultimate split. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, take a look at it. Made it through. I think that's a pretty good list. This is probably going to be literally like an hour long. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned something. Maybe this helped you concoct your own workout exercise schedule. And yeah, I love you guys. God bless y'all. Peace out, and I will see y'all next time.